The Vela family's New Zealand Bloodstock conducts one of the world's great sales every January in Karaka, and they also, of course, have Penkaro stud, which has influenced the breed for generations through the likes of the great ethereal family. I caught up with Sir Peter Vela at Karaka earlier in the year to find out what it is that makes the Kiwi breds have such a great record in Australia's greatest races.
125. Go racing. Aiming at the Sir Patrick Hogan Auditorium.
Sir Peter, it's fabulous, I think, for not only Australians but everybody to be back here at Karaka. What's been your feeling, the vibe of this sale? I think, you know, leading into it, everyone was so excited that things are pretty much back to normal.
Well, we certainly were. We've looked forward to it for a fair time now, and our Aussie friends were back and they've come back, and look, we couldn't be happier with the catalogue, with the people that are here and the way it started.
Rocket Horse, the centre, just in front of Nature Strip. Rocket Horse!
It all is about, I guess, racetrack success, isn't it? That's what everyone's trying to aim to breed, is the good horse. And gee, the record of the Kiwis in Australia, you know, obviously we've had Derby winners, Oaks winners, Guineas winners, but, you know, a Rocket Horse winning two Group 1 sprints in Australia, it really covers all bases.
It was amazing, wasn't it? That was a wonderful result for us, and if you're lucky enough to have a good climate and grow good grass, good staff, good people, and our history's been based on the fact that we breed for Australia by and large. Although we haven't totally succumbed to breeding fast horses, we still feel that there's a place for the New Zealand bred in the Australian calendar, and I think that's proven by the great judges from Australia that have been here looking since November, and we're here yesterday buying.
I know Chris Waller always says, you know, there are a lot of imports that are bought, you know, by so many owners to race in Australia and staying races, but you can't race them as, well, you can to a degree, as 3-year-olds and so on, but it's less likely you're going to have a 3-year-old that can be able to win a Guineas or an Oaks or a Derby, and that's been the real forte, hasn't it?
Yeah, no question about that. There's a place for those stayers, that European stayers. Everyone still dreams of a Derby or an Oaks or a Guineas, or that'll keep us going for a while.
But the stallion strength in New Zealand, I mean, everywhere it ebbs and flows. Obviously, you have your great champions, Sir Tristram and Zabeel and O'Reilly, and now Savabeel, obviously an 8-time champion sire. But it's so exciting seeing the new breed of, you know, the Proziers and you know, even a Vadamos, a Tino Aladdin, some of those horses are shocking. Perencanto, obviously, doing a great job. It's so important, isn't it, the next generation to really kick off?
Yeah, no doubt about it, and the better that they do, the more investment is made in the future. And if you look at the Super Set foals, perfect example that you've got a stud, Waikato stud, champion sire, total dominance, and they're reinvesting it in a sire like him. We're so lucky to have a horse performed in Australia like that, with that pedigree, with his looks, back here and leaving foals that people want to buy.
There's a great camaraderie, isn't there? I mean, everyone, you're competing, everyone has their own business, but a lot of New Zealand studs will get involved in another stallion. So you'll have shareholdings within other stallions and so forth. Tell me about how that works, because I mean, you can't go in everything, but everyone supports each other.
We're a pretty small operation, and unless we did that, we wouldn't have any chance of survival. We've got a small foal crop. For that reason, we need to cooperate, and we need to support those that have the courage to bring a stallion in, and we all have to support them. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but there's nothing different about that anywhere else in the world.
Yeah, well, you've bred some wonderful stallions. You're looking at, you know, your Darcy Brahmas and Burgundies, and you know, consistently getting group winners. Of course, we've lost Burgundy, but the influence that you can have as a broodmare farm on the stallion population is enormous too.
Unbelievable, and we lent a mare once to our commentator George Simon, and he bred Turn Me Loose, and I was talking to him the other day, and it gives him more pleasure than anything else, just every time there's a Turn Me Loose go around. And I know the feeling from Burgundy and Darcy Brahma and those sorts of things, that we've got to do it.
And what drives your passion? So the broodmare farm, I mean, you know, we filmed Ethereal at age 25 just recently. She's magnificent. But what drives you? Is it sort of producing that foal that goes on, or is it actually watching them win on on the racetrack, watching the next generation? What is it?
Well, I think it's a combination of all those things, and it's changed with me over the last 50 years, and it's just a wonderful industry to be involved with. It was wonderful when it was dreaming about having a bet, and it's wonderful now when you're dreaming about a foal, what it might look like, and then dreaming about whether it'll be able to run, or could it win a nice race. And that's the joy of it, and it's a worldwide, it's an international business, it's international camaraderie. You develop friends all over the world, and there's a lot to be said for it.
Well, one of the great generational breeders, of course, we lost so recently, Sir Patrick Hogan, and what an incredible influence, you see even through, Savabeel, who's a son of Zabeel, son of Sir Tristram, and those broodmare lines, through the 8-carat Maya Tricia, Tyona, and before them. I mean, what an incredible influence Sir Patrick was.
He truly was. He was just inspirational, no shadow of doubt, and we're going to miss him terribly. You mention him there, and it just reminds me that we've had just a wonderful journey, and Zavabeel's not over with it yet, and I'll be surprised if one of his sons doesn't step up as well. And of course I can't ever forget that Romany Conti was the mother of Ethereal, and Ethereal was sired by another sire of Patrick's called Rhythm, which none of us remember anymore. So, but I do.
Yes, exactly. But it was lovely that naming the auditorium, the Sir Patrick Hogan Auditorium, the main selling ring here, sales ring here at Karaka, and there's a lot of emotion. I think a lot of people feel not seeing Sir Patrick here this year.
It's strange without him. I've never been to a sale that he hasn't been at. So, and he was desperate to be here this week, but it wasn't to be. But his thoughts are with us, I'm sure, and ours are with him.
So where do you see the industry in, say, the next 10 years, the next 20 years? Are things going to change? Is the wagering sort of system going to be more of an advantage to the industry in the future, or how do these things move forward, do you think?
Ooh, that's a very tough one.
That's $1 million question.
That's a very tough one for Monday morning. We've shown in New Zealand that if we produce on a race day good horses, good racing, good jockeys, good tracks, we'll get good wagering. And wagering is what's going to fund our future. We just don't have enough of it. We had the 6 race meeting for the incentive races for the Karaka Millions and so on. Wagering was through the roof. It was magnificent. Everyone had a wonderful day, and it proves that it can be done. But there's a lot of work to be done with all the other aspects that go towards it.
And yeah, the good horses drive wagering, no matter how many numbers of races on the day. Or
good horses, good jockeys, good tracks, good competition, good stakes, and there's not one simple solution, but there is a solution, but it's going to take a bit.
Well, it's been wonderful to be back here. I think everyone's had a great time. Thank you so much for your time.
You're very welcome, and thanks for coming back.